How's it going, everyone? It's Milwaukee coming back at you once again. And today we're going to be discussing Batman and Robin, Black Knight versus White Knight. Let's get into it. Now, this fourth and final volume of the original run of Batman and Robin uh, comprises of three stories, each being three issues, written by three different creators and drawn by like a laundry list of artists. I really don't know what happened with this volume, but like I said, let's go through it here. I'll give you a brief recap of the stories, and we'll take it from there. The first story is entitled The Sum of Her Parts. It is written by Paul Cornell with art by Scott McDaniel. An old ex-girlfriend of Bruce Wayne ends up getting shot in the head during a yacht robbery. She survives being shot in the head because she's a literal airhead, and she goes on a spree when she realizes that no one at her funeral missed her or she wasn't well liked by any of her peers. She ends up trapping Batman and Robin in a fake death trap while her henchmen go around the town of Gotham, killing all the criminals that were involved in the yacht robbery in which she sustained a gunshot wound to the head. She then shoots herself in the head again, falls out a window, and disappears, and is later, she survived again, because again, she just can't die getting shot in the head for some reason. And so she's still out there, and that's the story. Batman and Robin, they don't know what happened to her. She disappeared after she fell out the window. The second story contained in this volume, and the story that's treated like the main story, because the cover art and all that stuff, is titled Tree of Blood. It is written by Pete Tomasi and drawn by Patrick Gleason, from Green Lantern Corps fame. A glowing white villain is going around Gotham targeting relatives of Arkham Asylum inmates. And he's killing them before they have a chance to become corrupted like their relatives currently trapped in Arkham Asylum. When Batman and Robin foil these plans, he goes to Arkham Asylum and decides he's going to start killing the villains in there. Batman and Robin, of course, stop him, and he ends up becoming an inmate of Arkham himself. The third story is titled The Streets Run Red, and it was, in my opinion, the story that had the most potential to be the most interesting, although the ball was kind of dropped. Like I said, it's called The Streets Run Red. It's written by Judd Winnick with art by Guillaume March, Andre Bresson, Greg Tocchini, and Andy Smith. When you got a lot of artists on 3-issue stories, you're in for one hell of a bumpy ride. Jason Todd, also known as the Red Hood, he's back, and he's being transferred from Arkham Asylum into just a regular prison, and when he gets put into prison, all the criminals in there start mysteriously dying. So Batman calls the prison, and he's like, hey, Jason Todd's killing these villains, these criminals in the prison. He needs to be put back in Arkham Asylum, where we can keep an eye on him. While being transferred from the prison, he gets broken out by this group from South America known as the Menagerie. Basically, I think Animorphs. There's like a T-Rex guy. It's crazy. Turns out that the Menagerie, they have captured Red Hood's former, partner, Scarlet, from way back in the Grant Morrison run. She had the Dollatron face. They captured her in order to lure Red Hood to their cause or whatever, but once Batman and Robin find out that Scarlet has been captured, they team up with Jason Todd in order to save her, and that's exactly what happens. And in the end, Jason Todd, he betrays, Dick and Damian, setting off bombs around Gotham, so Batman has to choose. Does he save the civilians from the bombs, or does he bring in Red Hood? And of course, Batman chooses the civilians, so Red Hood and Scarlet, they fly away in a helicopter, and that's that. So those were the stories contained in this volume of Batman and Robin. I don't really know what happened with this one. You go from Grant Morrison and that legendary run to now you're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. You bring in Paul Cornell for an obvious filler arc, and it ends up being like the best arc in the whole volume, because then you bring in Tomasi and Gleason, and I know they're going to take over the book in the New 52, I believe. So they're like the 18 creators here, and their story is just okay. Then Judd Winnick follows after that, and it's a Red Hood story. Judd Winick, he has a hard on for this Jason Todd Red Hood character. So you think, especially after the developments of the previous Grant Morrison run in Batman and Robin, where Jason Todd, Scarlet were featured, you think you're going to get an interesting story here, but instead you get a Jason Todd that looks like a redhead Kurt Cobain, and it's just a fluff story where like the villain disappears. You set up this female villain in the book. She has Scarlet, and then when Batman and Robin get on the scene, they start taking out henchmen, but the villain never gets dealt with. Did they just forget about her? Was she like never there? She was just phoning in from somewhere else? I don't know. And the art on that story, 3 parts. The Streets Run Red. You had like 4 artists on there, and it's just really jarring art. It really soured the story, soured the reading experience. This volume was just a mess. But then again, I guess at this time, the New 52 was right around the corner. A lot of things were a mess at this time. Nothing really matters. Nothing sticks. We get to see, I believe this is the costume that Jason Todd wears in the New 52, but I'm not sure. But we get to see the debut of a new costume for, Jason, which I guess is nice. If only it could have been drawn like a little bit better. Yeah, I felt like the Pete Tomasi and Patrick Gleason story fell flat for me. It got top billing here with, the cover of the book, Dark Knight versus the White Knight. And the White Knight was just some kid whose father died in Arkham Asylum, and he ended up somehow turning into the White Knight via, chemicals or whatever. They give an explanation in the book, but, who cares? Honestly, who cares? The villain was weak. The story, whatever, I believe there's a panel in this book that sums it up the best, so I'll just let Deacon Robin take it from here. Yeah, you read it, same as I did. 1 out of 5. Brutal. Until next time, I'll see you there.